Hey, this is Heather Elizabeth of AuthenticSexualYou.com, and every week I bring you videos on sexuality and sex education and dating and communication and relationships. And I look forward to making those videos because I love being able to interact with people this way. But this week it's been really, really hard to make a video. About a week ago there was another incident of gun violence in the States, and that is nothing new. The details are coming out this week that this seems to be motivated by it's motivated by sexualized violence, right? And I don't know how to say that any other way, and it's not fun, but there it is. The gunman was angry and bitter and disconnected and decided to take his rage out on other people. And as a sex educator and coach, it's really hard for me to sit here and tell people that they should go out into the world and connect with other humans. And, you know, for many people that feels like putting their personal safety at risk. And sometimes it's really hard for me to tell people that they aren't. Because there are people who are really angry in this world and who have really toxic ideas of what it means to have relationships and to get connection and who owes them what. So I've been dreading kind of making this video, and I thought, fuck it. I will not try and have a little happy blurb for you. I'm just going to talk a little bit, and we'll see where it goes from there. The thing about connection is that we all need it. Right? I think it's super fascinating right now and great that even addiction and substance abuse areas are starting to look at how disconnection from other humans, from society, impacts drug use, impacts addiction, ability to keep a job, ability to keep your mental health. Connection in our lives is so important. It is an absolutely core need that people have. And I love that I get to use sexuality as a medium to help people figure out what kind of connection they want in their life and how they can really find how to connect to other people from a place of authenticity. I recognize that my bubble is small and my bubble is not reflective of the rest of society. And in the rest of society, we have really shitty, toxic messages about what masculinity looks like, what relationships look like, how you get connection. And this isn't to say that there aren't other voices out there doing the same thing. I think there are really amazing voices out there showing people how to do better and challenging the idea of stereotypes. Harris O'Malley just wrote a great piece for the Daily Dot about toxic masculinity. If you don't recognize the name Harris O'Malley, he also writes Paging Dr. Nerdlove. Carlos Andreas Gomez is another person who's been out there working for years. Same with Jeff Pereira. And these guys are out there challenging men on what it means to be a man and what it means to get connection and what it means to have authentic relationships. And I am so grateful for their work because I think men as a group are people who really need to hear this and need to hear about the options they have. I guess the other thing I really want to say here is we need connection, we deserve connection, but it's not helpful to us as human beings to get caught up on what that connection is supposed to look like. You know, we get sold this idea of romance, we get sold this idea of true love, and we get sold this idea of this is how relationships work. You meet, you date, you move in together, you get married, you have 2.5 kids, you buy a house in suburbia, you sit on porch swings in your 70s and yell, "Get off my lawn, kids," and shake your cane at people. And that's not how the world works anymore. And that's okay. That's not good or bad. That's just like a reality of our society. So when we're still using old expectations, you know, kind of paired up against the new world, there's a disconnect. And when there's a disconnect in expectations and reality, like this is when people get disappointed. I want to, I guess, encourage people to think about this in a little bit of a Buddhist way, right? Like one of the tenets of Buddhism is that attachment leads to suffering. And that's not to say that you shouldn't want things. That's not to say that you shouldn't want connection. And if that's what you think, that you should just like, you know, cut yourself off from society, then I would encourage you to reconsider that passage and what it really means. It's not the want. It's the attachment to the want. when you can hold loosely to your relationships, and when you can hold loosely to your expectations of your relationships and what forms they take and what they look like, it's a lot easier to go with the flow and to stay in the present and actually enjoy the relationship and the people and the opportunities for connection that are in front of you, because connection is not scarce. There are so many humans in this world and so many who would be happy to know you. But when you show up as yourself and you show other people who you really are, provide your vulnerability and give people the opportunity to connect with you in a way that works for them, not necessarily what you were hoping for or what you want, but a way that actually works for them, that is true connection. That is holding loosely to our attachments. That is not letting our attachments create suffering in our lives. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm super open to conversation on this. I'm super open to dialogue. Again, I am so grateful to the people who are out there doing work around dismantling toxic masculinity and dismantling the set ideas that Hollywood and society gave us about relationships and connection. I am so happy that I get to be one of those people doing the work, and this morning I'm really thinking about how blessed I am to work with people individually and help them find connection in an authentic way that works for them. Next week we will be back, I'm sure, to our regular schedule. Thanks, guys.